what's up you guys? So I'm back with another video. So what I was going to try to do was, as I did in the last video, since I don't have a GoPro, don't have really the tools that I need to be able to show y'all clips and stuff like that, I'll just saving videos and then showing it from off here under watch later. But with this topic, it would require quite a few videos or whatever to go through, and I'm not even sure if I have the space in this phone to do that, which is why I'm asking you guys if you would like to support this channel so I can get the tools, equipment that I need. You can do so at Cash App at Cianis, C-I-A-N-I-S-C, capital C, capital N. But if not, I'm working on it. It'll be coming soon. So I want to talk to you guys about this Joe Budden, Tihary, Jose, I believe her last name is, Charlemagne, and Spotify situation. So here, let's get straight into it. Tihary came out stating that Joe Budden had broken her nose. Well, it's a clip where she admits herself that it was not Joe Budden. She actually was speaking. You can go to Joe Budden TV and see the footage where she stated herself, speaking with Joe, that a man at a club had broken her nose. Now, I heard a story that she worked at a nightclub. The dude was like, you know, trying to get on her. She a little feisty. Basically, like, dude, get the heck on. Either she had spit on the gentleman or threw a drink at the gentleman. She didn't like what he said. He didn't like her energy, and then he punched her in her nose. Is that the accurate story? I'm not sure. But she later turned around. When she was speaking with him, she never had mentioned this, which there's footage of this proof. He isn't the one did it. Another man had did it. But she later turned around and said that the dude did not like Joe Budden, so that's why he punched her in the face to send a message to Joe Budden. I'm sorry, I do not believe that bullshit for a second. But she was caught in that lie because she tried to blame her nose being broken on Joe Budden, and that he was very abusive to her. She also tried to say that another man hit her is because of Joe Budden. And a lot of people were stating and asking once they caught her in the first lie concerning the fact he's not the one who even broke her nose. Like, why would she be telling these lies? I have a theory about that, which I'm going to break down. But anyway, Joe Budden came and he responded to her allegations. He like, I don't know where this stuff coming from. He did take accountability and ownership. He said, I was about 24, 25. You was about 25, 26. And you were beating my ass. And we were both toxic towards each other. And that, you know, he has went on to do his own thing or whatever. This is where, to me, I trust and believe what he had to say. I appreciate he took accountability and ownership. And to me, that story makes more sense because guess what? I'm a woman who was toxic before and had created a toxic relationship with my ex. And I was the aggressor. I used to put my hands on him all the time. So, and I'm quite sure a lot of y'all women have been there before too. When you're young, in love, trying to navigate love, having these emotions, not mature enough to know how to process them. Emotions of extreme passion, extreme jealousy, insecurity, extreme feelings of being disrespected, you're going to lash out. And us women have tend to be abusive towards men, and it's not spoken about, but a lot of men are being verbally, mentally, and physically abused at the hands of women. And I myself used to put my hands on my ex all the time until one day he said, you know what, I'm going to hit you back. So, and I don't think anything wrong with that. I believe a man should defend himself. I believe both sexes should keep their hands to themselves. I have a son myself, and I have explained to him, if you are in a relationship with a woman and she's putting her hands on you, you de-escalate the situation and you get far away from her. But I've also let him know, if you have to restrain her, do not let a woman just be punching and beating on you flat out. Now, this is the thing. So I believe everything that Joe had to say about they were being abusive to each other, and that is not uncommon. She has shown evidence herself, though, that she's an aggressor, that she's abusive, that she is mentally and emotionally abusive as well as physically, because when we looked at the marriage boot camp with Vado, all leading up to when he either put her up like this or put her like that, which is not uncommon for a man to do when they don't want to actually beat you, but they are sick and tired of you battering them emotionally, verbally, physically, and all that, which is what she was doing. When you look what led up to that, all through the season she had been belittling him, calling him a little boy, calling him broke, calling him names, like very hostile, cursing in his face, pitting him down. So when I was looking at the scene, I was thinking like, wow, this girl out of control. Like, who treats someone like that? And he was eating it. He was accepting it and dealing with it. But you got to understand, a person going to get tired of that. You constantly beating them down. And then she goes to swinging a chair up at him. Cursing, telling him shut the fuck up, and demeaning him as a man. All of that. And then she went and threw apples at him. She threw 2 apples at him. If y'all don't know, apples are hard, okay? And they hurt. And she was in close range. And she threw an apple at his chest. She threw the other one at his head. And he still, in that moment, did not snap. It was a little later. But that showed that and made it evident how she is. That she is an abuser. She is abusive. She has not grown, learned, matured to come out of dealing with her frustrations, angers, and feelings in a more mature way, in a more healthy way. So when Vado had responded the way he did, I did not feel he was wrong, and I felt that the way that the show and producers and stuff handled it, though, was wrong, because they never addressed her, or no one stepped in when she was abusing him, when she was getting out of line, when she was in his face and stuff. No one stepped in to say, hey, what you're doing is abusive. It is not okay. But the minute that he responded, and I think the reason why his response was delayed is because I think while he was sitting there and she was saying this, like, he was fed up with it. Like, I've had enough of this, and you won't take accountability. You sugarcoat shit. You putting it all on me. He had enough of it. So that's why he responded. Was the way he responded necessarily okay? No, but I do understand why he responded that way. He is a better man. There are better men out here, such as Joe Budden was a better man. Now, this is why I believe that she did these lies and focusing her attention on Joe Budden when she should be focusing on marriage boot camp in a situation with her and Vado. But she wanted to turn to Joe Budden. And she even shouted out Charlamagne. So I'm about to tell you the reasons why I believe that Tihary did these things and is attacking Joe Budden like this. Is because, number one, she needs money for a bag. Number 2, I believe she was prompted to do it for money in a bag. And number 3, I think because she feels Joe is the one who got away. This is a woman who's hitting 40, I believe, or maybe already in hit 40. She's still single. She does not have children. I believe that as you've seen their history, they were somewhat, I guess, each other's first love and things like that. And I think that she looked at the fact that Joe is doing very well for himself. He has moved on with life, got him a beautiful woman, has him a child now, and is living his life, excelling, and I'm sitting over here and I'm not. So I believe a bit of bitterness and entitlement came from her feeling upset about that fact that this is my ex and he's moved on with life and he's doing well, and here I am over here and I'm not doing well. I'm still scraping for a bag here and there. So the other thing that she stated was like, right, Joe was supposedly massively abusive to her. She was this big victim. But when we looked at when we looked at Love and Hip Hop, she was trying to get back with Joe. See, she wants this Joe that she sees now, and she does not have that. So I believe that would have made it easier for her to be like, yeah, I want to attack him. I want him to suffer because I'm suffering. When people, pay attention to how other people treat other people, and pay attention to how you treat other people. Because normally you're treating other people the way that you treat and feel about yourself. So she's lashing out and attacking him because of how she feels about herself and her own situation. And her jealousy and resentment about where he's at. She feels, I'm the one who should have had the baby with you. I'm the one who should have been your fiance. But she showed no fear on that season from Joe. You even wanted to be back with him. You were trying to make his fiance at the time jealous and stuff. And this really threw me off because I even made a video about Tihary and Sin. And I was riding with Tihary because when you know people really loved each other, had a relationship, regardless of their ups and downs, you want to see them win. So I wanted them two back together. I had negative thoughts and feelings towards Sin, to be honest, because I was looking at her just a groupie gold digger. But now as I watch Love and Hip Hop, watch Marriage Boot Camp, and then her actions now, it shows a different side of her that she's not exactly what I assumed her to be, which was a mature, loyal, loving person. Like, which of course she can still have those attributes in her, but that's not what's been being displayed because of her own brokenness she ain't dealt with. And I believe that she's envious of Joe that he has. But The other thing is, Joe Budden is doing his thing with his podcast, right? So he's with Spotify. He's preaching and being a leading example about ownership, which is the most important thing black people need to get. Ownership. You need to be listening to what the game Joe Budden is speaking, and because it applies more to just the industry as far as being celebrity music and podcasts and all that stuff. The stuff he's preaching applies to any and everyday skills that you have, that you can acquire your own business and work for yourself and have ownership of, instead of getting your brand, selling your product to a massive company and they having rights and ownership to it and stuff like that. Pay attention. This is a big fight that should have been had, needs to be had, is going to continue to be had, and he's on the right end of it, fighting for himself as well as his people, ownership people. So I believe that Spotify, through Charlemagne, because everybody been telling academics and academics and Joe Budden, that Charlemagne is a snake. Charlemagne is a sabotager. Charlemagne preys on their downfall. He is trying to move chess pieces to hinder and harm them. Everyone was already telling me. That's why I want Joe Budden dealing with him, because he jumped on Joe Budden to do that end of the year wrap up thing, and I'm like, no, do not work. And he's a snake in disguise. He pretends on the surface that he's for you, but he's really not. He is hating. And if you pay attention, they had that podcast battle. Joe Budden podcast came out successful. On top of that, Charlemagne is a snake. But anyway, she literally shouted out Charlemagne. That was a code word. She was letting those in the know who sent the sniper. She's the sniper. Charlemagne the one who sent her, and Spotify sent her, because we know Spotify and iHeartRadio has ties, connections, and Charlemagne is a massive hater. So they worked together to send her as a sniper, and she was willing to do it due to, like I said, she needs the bag, she wants the attention, she wants to play victim, because a lot of people have been calling her out on her behavior. A lot of women in particular have been calling her out on her behavior with the vital thing. She wanted to redirect the attention to making herself a victim. Joe Budden is going through some things right now. Joe Budden had a history of not being so much in the favor of the public due to his antics and being a victim of substance abuse and stuff like that. So, of course, she, I'm going to target him. I want to bring him down. I'm not with him. I'm not benefiting with him on what he's doing. So that's why she did it. But it was clearly evident that this was an attack on him. And she has her own personal reasons for doing it. I'm explaining to you, Charlemagne has his personal reason for doing it. And, of course, Spotify have their personal reasons for wanting it done. And if you do not think that people in the industry and these different corporations do not band together to try and tarnish a person, hinder a person business-wise, try and blackball them, hinder their success, then you're naive. They do it every single day. And they are doing it to him. But I wish her much success. Tihary is foul for her behavior. She needs to go get therapy and get some healing. Men do need to stay away from her, because she is still in a very toxic, broken place. I wish her the best on that. But yeah, she's foul. Like, you are an abuser. And the thing with, what is that dude's name? Because I did a video on him too, y'all. What is his name? The light-skinned guy on Hollywood Unlocked, Jason Lee. Because I did a video on him too. Y'all can go check that video out if you want. It was concerning some other things. He did an interview on The Breakfast Club, actually. And one of the things he had touched on, and that Charlemagne had asked him, I did a video about. But Jason Lee was wrong. And I wish Joe Budden would have never even responded to him, because that's why he did it. He did it for clout, for attention. He wanted to rat this thing out to get himself views. And I would have never even went to go check out that video if it wasn't for Joe Budden addressing him. So that made me go. And I was even mad at myself, like, clicking on it, like, no, don't do this. But then I'm like, Joe Budden, it's your fault. But Jason Lee, he was clout chasing along with her. Them two was in cahoots. That was the avenue and outlet that they used for her to spew her lies on behalf of herself, Charlemagne, in Spotify, to tarnish Joe Budden's image, to try and give him negative publicity, so people divert their attention away from the message he's promoting. Pay attention to what they do. What did Kanye just say? Distract, destroy something. So you could miss the message that Joe Budden is telling you. They sent this in to distract you. So now this will be your focus. Go back and listen to the message. Go back and listen to the last 2 podcasts that Joe Budden did. And actually, if you go back and listen to all his podcasts, he's always dropping gems in them. The other fellas as well, you know, they add in. Pay attention. He's a very bright young man. He is ahead of his time on pretty much everything that he does. And that's always going to be a battle. That's always going to be fight. The first to head start something, always the one who's going to take all the arrows for it. But everybody else benefits being on the back burner. And some even turn their back while you're making the stand because they're too cowardice. But then later turn around and benefit from it. So give that man his flowers while he is here. He is a pioneer in a lot of ways. He stands for the people. I respect him. His brand, he's great. So please do not let them distract you from the message, which is what they're trying to do. Please go and listen and actually understand what he's trying to tell you, the gems, because some things he can't just verbally say verbatim what it is. He has to do it in some type, in coding. But if you go and really pay attention, you will pick up exactly what he's telling you. And it goes back to dealing with business with those type of people. It goes back because Spotify is a Swedish owned company. It's there over there in Sweden. Okay, they're the same ones who came after Tidal because they didn't want to compete with them. But anyway, it goes back to what Nick Cannon was even telling you about those people. They are somewhat cancerous to blacks. We have the talent, we have the creativity, we have the product, and they are like leashes, parasites, who come try to find the host and bleed them dry. So while we're the ones working with the skills, with the products, with the culture and creativity, they leech off of it. And Joe is making a stand saying no more. We are going to own our own. We cutting that line where they're bleeding us dry. We need ownership. Generational wealth and our status in society will be so much higher if we kept ownership. Yes, ownership is a hard road, but it's the best road for you and your descendants that's coming after you. And you need to think about them instead of a quick payday right now, which of course is easier said than done. But blood, sweat, and tears. Put in that blood, sweat, and tears. So that's all I want to say about that. Tell me what y'all think about the Tihary, Joe Budden, Spotify, and Charlamagne thing. And also let me know your opinions about my thoughts on it and what I believe to be going on and what seems to be pretty evident that's going on. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button.